It's time for Chewing on the Wire Radio.
No, God! No,
Hey,
God,
no
please,
biting.
no!
Hey, no
No!
biting. Okay? You want me to bite you? You know that hurts, Daddy. I told you, silly. No biting, okay?
Power plays, breakaways, the Gary Shaw's the dirty days. Sick of power plays, ain't no messing in our way. We're knocking with the dead, Masasaki on the way.
Alright, so now it's time for something I've kind of also gotten back into this week, right? Again, I think technically last week during the Terrifier premiere and all that good stuff, but I feel like I've gone to the movie theater, to the movies, once since it like opened back up since COVID and all that stuff, and it was like in June. I went and saw Inside Out 2, and I did it just because it was one of those. I felt like I needed to kind of relax type of situation. You know how I love Disney movies. You know I went to school to be an animator, all that. So it's like I enjoy going and seeing them, just all that kind of stuff. And it was like in the middle of the AHL playoffs. The Monsters were in it. The Bears were in it. They were about to start playing each other, and that was a huge matchup. And then it was like right, or maybe it was just right after the Bears won, and then they were going to the finals, and it was just this whole, like I'm going to this game, that game. I just also got back from Chicago. It was like everything was going on at once. So I'm like, what's a good relaxation method? Let's go see a new animated movie, and I went to see Inside Out 2. I think that's been the first time since probably before COVID, and that was definitely the last time before, I just went last week to see Terrifier 3. But something about just and it really clicked this last time when I went to see Terrifier 3. Something about just sitting in, maybe it was a new theater in North Olmsted, Phoenix Theaters, awesome seats, all that fun atmosphere. Maybe it was just being in the seats, the popcorn, the whole thing like that. Maybe it was because I actually saw a good movie for once, because Terrifier 3 was an awesome movie. You can go listen to our review on that, just an episode or two back. It was called, like, Chewing on the Wire Does Stuff. It was part of that series. Go listen to the review. But anyway, I was like, I like this. I think I should start coming back to the movie some more. So now it's kind of an insert here, whether it's its own episode, like the Terrifier 3 one was, or you can go listen to it separate from the Friday Fever that you're listening to now. And we review a movie, part of the Chewing on the Wire Does Stuff series, or whether it's in this Friday Fever, in one of these episodes of Friday Fever. I'm kind of liking just kind of like reviewing like a new movie right fast. So this isn't really a review. It's more of a comment, more of a shitting on, I guess you'd say. So The Joker 2. I won't give any specific spoilers away except like one thing, and I'll tell you when I drop that on y'all before I do so. But first, with these people and groups that make movies or books or comics or just modern revamps of old movies, like, I understand having some creative liberties, but like, now here's a little spoiler, if you even want to call it that. It's kind of been brought up in every meme all over the internet, so, and comment and review. But anyway, I understand creative liberties, but basically they made the story of Joker, the second part here, and Harley Quinn, a musical. And of course, it's hard to tell what's a meme and a joke and what isn't, but in doing, research for this bit, as well as sending SOH to the theaters to see it, Scotty on the Hunt, in case you don't know who SOH is, our man Scotty on the Hunt, to the theater to see it, I learned that the alternative, and I learned the alternative idea to this whole movie, if not a musical, which it was something related to the Joker in space. Okay, so this is why you're getting all these bad reviews, and you're losing box office revenue to independent films. I don't know why this was such a challenge. Again, creative liberties, fine, but was the story in the comics a musical? Was it cueing with either the pictures or, exact quotes in the words? Was it cueing that everything the Joker said that you were reading was being sung? Because I don't think it was. So why'd you write a movie marketed to be the theatrical story of the Joker, a freaking musical? It's not like they did DC or the musical or something. It's marketed as Joker 2. Whatever Deuce, the blah blah blah. I call it Deuce instead, because it's a piece of shit. Like, it had, from what I remember, Joker 1 had bountiful successes. Like, zero brain power was needed other than to divvy up the lines and create a real world sets and costumes based on the story, but instead we got a 1.8 rated musical with a potential space spin-off. Like, what? Thankfully, it's so bad it's given Terrifier 3 a whole new crowd. Which, by the way, that movie is doing wonderful in its first weekend, and at this point in time is rated #1 in the box office right now. Not to give away anything from the movie with those noises, but yeah. There's also news coming in that specific theaters, they brought Terrifier 3 in because they just saw how well all the other movies and all that were doing. Because normally theaters wouldn't bring in an unrated movie because you just don't know. So their precaution is just we won't sell tickets, so we strongly urge you don't buy tickets. I think it's they won't sell tickets to anyone who can't prove they are 18 or over. So randomly, it looks like and this is kind of funny, that whatever robot DreamWorks movie had a spike in numbers, and it seems like, now I don't know how they divvied that up. I think this is from the people working at the theaters, just in what do you call it, reporting to independent sources that kids under the age of 18 are buying tickets to that robot movie and sneaking into Terrifier 3. And then what else is funny about that? Not only is this movie so driven that everyone just wants to see it, but those extra tickets being bought to that robot animated movie that just came out too, then spiked the robot movie up, so it is also doing better than Joker, and Joker 2 is now rated 3rd behind Terrifier and the robot movie, some of whose tickets are being bought to go see Terrifier. That's how bad the Joker is doing. Anyway, you can tell I made my notes just as I thought of stuff. Because I didn't put baseball with baseball, I didn't put hockey with hockey, I didn't put movies with movies or anything like that. But I guess we got kind of another question that was posed on social media from just people in general, kind of going off, seeing it very prominently now in our area because the Yankees are in town to play the Guardians and all that good stuff. So why do people hate Aaron Judge? Or poop on Aaron Judge, why are they about Aaron Judge? Well, it may be easier for me to write some of this because I'm originally from Cleveland, and it's just hard hereditarily built into you from birth to dislike New York somewhere in your bones, even though I really don't hate New York, and I guess it's just kind of hard for me to hate New York because, in fact, I used to work for/with them with their single A team, the Hudson Valley Renegades. So, I can't really be like, I treat that franchise like I've got some buddies there. I got some friends there. I can't really say I hate them, I was born and raised in Cleveland, so I gotta say I'm pulling for the Guardians in the series, but, if the Yankees win, I don't know. That's another up in the air thing. It would kind of be cool to see the Yankees win a World Series, and I know it's one of those, they don't need another one. And then I'm also torn because it's hard. I know, and everyone in Cleveland, once they spin this episode, they're gonna, gonna get the hate for this, but if it's the Mets and the Yankees, I think I want the Yankees to win definitely. If it's the Dodgers and the Yankees, that's really hard because my family and I went out to LA couple times and I kind of enjoyed the area. I was more for the Angels. I felt like they were the more down to earth team. But that's another one of those friends of the region type of situation. So I don't know which one I'd pick between those two, but anyway, not as a person with like Aaron Judge, but as a media fixation, Aaron Judge does just kind of annoy me. Like I said, not as a person. The media annoys me. All right. So as a media fixation, Aaron Judge annoys me because now this usually changes, and I mean he usually ends up doing well. But I feel like for the most part, like definitely the start of every season, he comes out with like a 196 batting average, if that. But every few times he's up to bat, when he isn't striking out, he hits a home run. So to recap, to put some different numbers in there, out of every 10 times he was up to bat, to start off, at least, not necessarily all season long, but every 10 times he's up to bat, 7 or 8 times he strikes out. 2, maybe 3 times he hits a home run. And then every piece of media is like, he's the home run king. If it hits the bat, it's a homer. Like, well, I guess that's true, because if it hits the bat, it's a home run, but he's also batting less than 196. And if it doesn't hit the bat, it's a strikeout. Like, okay, 2 for 10 is not a good batting average. And he plays in a little league park with walls closer than any other stadium. And to stay on a current example, you have people like Stephen Kwan from the Guardians hitting almost 400 or 500. Like, is it just because he's a Yankee? Is it just because he's, in New York, a large market? Because I don't think we've heard, like, until the announcement was made, I don't just think daily, weekly, in all the MLB advertisements, we hear about Kwan hitting over 300, getting hurt, doing MILB rehab, then immediately coming back and going 300 or 400 again as soon as he had enough at bats to count towards the stats. Like, come on. Like I said, I don't know what Judge is hitting now, though he does usually end up doing decent, getting better throughout the season. But to answer that question, I haven't had time to put in the stats from Game 3 of the ALCS, but after Game 2, he was he's 3 for 18 right now. That I don't think that still stands. I don't know what he did last night, but he hit a home run. While he was going 3 for freaking 18. So that means he's the best ever, right? I mean, and the Guardians' Ryan Rocchio is hitting 450 this postseason, by the way, if you've ever heard that name. Probably haven't. Because why would you? But that's what, not as a person. I think he's a very good baseball player. And I think he's here for a reason, but it's just as a media fixation. I like going 3 for 18 and then still being on the cover of all the postseason picks is crazy. Like, I don't even care if your team's winning. Like, I feel like, oh gosh, I gotta remember their names. Is Stanton, and who's the other person? Soto? I think they've got to be doing better than he is. You know what I mean? And they're not the media fixation. It's just that weird, like, why? Why him? Like, all right. So it's come down to the time. We got to play devil's advocate again, all right? And we're going to play devil's advocate with something political, all right? And like I said, we're going to be going back and forth between two sides. I'm not going to, be going off, you should believe this, this is the way I think, and you should believe it. Actually, we're saying the opposite of that because we're dealing with people that think one way and want to force it on everyone. I don't much get into politics, but like I said, if something comes up that really strikes me as like, wow, that's what we're going for, I'm not going to tell you how to think, but I'm going to play devil's advocate in order to make you think. And just, I guess I hit my breaking point, because this week with all the commercials on the radio and everywhere, we hit that point. So we're going to get a little political about this. All right. So as you know, like I said, if you're a consistent listener, I like playing the devil's advocate. You won't know which, I lean necessarily which way. We just went over this. I just said this. But just giving you an argument because I want to make you think, just to set it up a third time. So everyone's not, I can't believe you think that way, and going after me and all that. But so I keep seeing ads levying one way or another whether abortion is right or wrong. And you see the people saying abortion at any point in time is a heinous crime and people need to take responsibility for their actions, blah, 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 blah. So my comment slash thought for you, and I keep hearing, like, I think Republicans specifically, the Trump supporters going down the line of, you wanted this to be a state decision, so we overturned Roe versus Wade and made it a state decision. Why? Like, if we live in a free country, here's the whole thought process. I just want you to divulge and, I want you to absorb before you divulge, alright? So if we live in a free country, why is it not just the right to decide, leave at a federal level, the right to decide? Like, why is it pushed to the states? So now, let's say you live in, specifically, the Bible Belt states, and ever governor / state government, General Assembly of the public, etc., that are giant Bible thumpers, believe only what's in the good book, etc. And now no one that crosses that state line, no matter the level of emergency, life and death situation, can get an abortion. So basically, I have to live by what you believe in now, even though I could be. It's really hard to pick out a religion. I don't want to. I'm not picking on another religion, but just saying, like, if those are the Catholics and Christians, then I'm not sure what like, what's another. I'm completely blanking on names of other religions. I was gonna say, just any other religion, whether it's Judaism. I just brought up a webpage here to just give me a list of some of the Native American religions, Hinduism. I don't know what a lot of those others believe, because I was raised Catholic. So, but it's like, just imagine you're of any other religion that would be okay with that, especially in the early terms. But you go to these states, nope, because that's what they believe. So then you have to believe it too. Is that freedom to you? Like, does that sound like freedom to you? Like, because we decided to strike it from a list of given rights that you have the freedom to choose. And, like, imagine how you'd feel as a pro-lifer if someone did that the opposite and said, well, you have to take this abortion test. I just made that up. Obviously, I don't think it exists. But just imagine you had to take an, like, abortion test or something as a pro-lifer and be put on an abortion candidate list in case something, horrible were to happen. Be like, they would be, on the list. Their bodies would be able to, simply handle, like, a simple abortion type of situation, and you were put on this candidate list, and doctors could just do it if they think you are getting into dangerous territory in order to save you. You would flip the hell out, but it's okay for you to force people in terminal condition, etc., so on and so forth, to have the child no matter what, because it's your belief and it sounds better in your eyes. It's just funny how that works to me. We can't just have it be a national standard or law. You believe whatever your beliefs are, do that. We can't have a freedom like that, huh? Can't just have a nationally recognized, a nationally mandated freedom like that, huh? Then we want to make removing an egg, even at the point it's a zygote or at the first cleavage level, like, even if the woman takes a pregnancy test immediately and can immediately get into an expert or something, we want to make removing that in some way, shape, or form to be equivalent to breaking into a house and murdering a family of 4. Shout out to the opening scene of Terrifier 3 for all my Terrifier Art the Clown fans out there. Anyway, and that makes sense to you. Like, if you don't know what a zygote is, look it up, because it's an egg with, like, sperm first touching it or in it, enough to make the pregnancy test, go bada bing. So obviously doing, like, the last trimester abortions and stuff are effed up, and that is murder. Literally taking a baby out and then putting it down, that shouldn't be allowed. There should be a legal limit to when you can't do it after, like after 4 weeks or some crap like that. That's what should have happened instead of overturning Roe v. Wade. You should have added something about a limit to when it's too late to do so. But it amazes me how it's my way and no one is allowed to have any other belief we are getting on this topic, especially, like, as a country. Like, we don't have to agree, and really there isn't one right or wrong way necessarily. If you're going to die with a child inside of you, I feel like it's more justifiable to let the 25 to 35-year-old live instead of the somewhat fetalized egg. You know what I mean? I don't, like, you can't just have it, like, we can't just have it be everyone's personal decision or an emergency situation decision. Like, you could be down to John's bar and eventually be date raped, God forbid, and you not giving any consent to that sexual interaction, maybe not even being conscious for it, maybe not even knowing who it was if he dips immediately after and you were knocked out and all that stuff, and you would have to have his kid and take care of it and raise it to be hopefully live a long and fulfilling life, but and be a productive member of society, because, well, we said so, in this state. So I guess we have to. The foster system is out there, though. I guess, if I guess, as long as you can have the baby safely, I guess that is technically an option. But that's just another log on the fire, though. Like, I pay little to no attention to politics, just daily. Like, I don't sit there and watch CNN or the news all day, and I'm not a political person, because both parties, and dare I say anyone who associates or identifies themselves with one of the parties, is an absolute ignoramus. We're throwing it back to these insults, because that's how stupid, how mind-numbingly stupid you are if you associate yourself specifically, like, as part of the Democratic Club for the city. Go smash a rock against your forehead, please, because, like, one side thinks everything in the world is happy and peachy now, and paying $4.50 for a gallon of gas is honky-dory, and all we have to focus on is electric vehicles and banning TikTok. Well, the other side is just honed in on whose rights they should try to take away this term, along with getting rid of all federal funding for education. Alrighty then, and you want me to pick one of these. And there's some of you out there that, like, live your life as part of one of these, like, clubs or parties just on the daily. That's crazy. That's crazy to me, man. That's crazy. And when I say smash a rock in your forehead, I don't mean kill yourself. I mean, like, let your brains jiggle around a little bit more. So maybe you can think straight this time. We don't condone violence here, but we also don't condone stupidity. So anyway, I think that was our first political rant we've ever been on this episode, on this show. So that was fun. Alright, I think that's it. See you next week for another Friday Fever. Also next week, we'll talk about it more next week, the 25th of October, we got a new Last Alive new Last Alive music coming out. A Halloween album, as we've been doing every year. First, it's going to be a single called Dead on Arrival. Brand new song. Then I believe we're going to have a whole Dead on Arrival compilation album with all the past Halloween Last Alive songs on it. So that's going to be a banger. Go check it out. The single comes out October 25th. We'll play it on here. We're going to have some fun. Thanks for listening, and I'm done.